Welcome to the Freedom Club Podcast, where we discover the fight for freedom, fulfillment, passion, and purpose. Your host is Curt Gallup certified strengths coach, an agency founder who is dedicated to coaching individuals seeking to level up their life and their businesses. The Freedom Club is about unlocking your talents, turning them into strengths, and crushing your objectives. You can learn more at CurtMercadante.com. Welcome to the Freedom Club.
Good morning, everyone. This is the Freedom Club Podcast. I'm your host, Curt Mercadante. It is Monday, April 30th, which means it's time for the Monday Motivator segment. Every Monday, I bring you a short burst of motivation to help you kick your week off on the right foot. Every Thursday is the interview segment, in which I interview a business leader or some other all-around interesting person. And for me, this Monday isn't just any old Monday. It is the first Monday after my birthday. Yesterday, I turned 43 years old. And, you know, at first, today's Monday Motivator segment might seem a bit dark, right? Because a few years ago, I think it was right after my father passed away in 2012. I didn't do this intentionally at first, but on my birthday, or right around my birthday, this year it was the day before, I find myself drifting to kind of a dark place. I really start thinking about my death. And again, I didn't start doing this intentionally. It just started a few years ago. You know, you start to realize, especially when you hit 40. Now, some of you who are over 50 might say, you young whippersnapper. I had some people commenting that on LinkedIn. But when you hit 40, at least when I did, you start to think, wow, you know, I've lived 40 years. Maybe I'm at the halfway point. Maybe not. Maybe I only have another 6 months to live. You never know, right? And so when I go to that dark place and think about my death, yes, when I come out of it, I do have a sense of gratitude, right? I think about people in my life who I have known who have not made it this far. You know, a number of people from high school that I knew, either friends or people I knew who, you know, passed on along the way. I think of my dad, you know, he lived into his 80s, right? And then I start thinking, well, maybe I'm at the halfway point. So there is a bit of sense of gratitude. I obviously look at my kids and think, wow, you know, over the past 43 years, I've helped bring these 4 wonderful humans into my life, and they give me such joy. And I look at my wife and just feel so fortunate that I found someone so special. So there is a sense of gratitude. But when I do come out of that place thinking about my death, I also have a real sense of urgency, because I start thinking about all those things I need to tweak, that I need to fix, that aren't allowing me to live my life 100% the way that I want to live it. You know, this year I actually started thinking about all this at Mass, at church on Saturday night, and thinking, am I doing everything possible? Have I done everything I could to help other people? You know, I'm a person of faith. A lot of people don't like to talk about that. I have no problem talking about it. And I start, you know, my goal is to get into heaven. And I start wondering, have I done everything I possibly could to do that? Have I been the best father, absolutely, that I could be? And yeah, I think I'm a pretty darn good father, but I think there's always things that I could do better. And I think about that, you know, in the coming year, or whether I only have a week to live. What can I do starting right now to be the best father, to be the best husband I can possibly be? And so I have this sense of urgency. You know, I start to think about some of those bucket list items. Some are important, like I've mentioned. Some are not so important. You know, I've always wanted to run a marathon. I have some back issues and would think that running is impossible, but it's a challenge. And so I might tackle that this year. And so there is a sense of urgency that comes out of that dark place, and it's controlled now, right? A few years ago on my birthday, when I started thinking about it, I let it take over my birthday and it kind of ruined it. But now I do it intentionally. I enter this place knowing I'm going to enter it and knowing I'm going to come out and not be trapped by it. And I'm going to come out with that sense of gratitude. I'm going to come out with that sense that starting right now, listen, I made it another year. I might not make it another year. Hopefully I do. Hopefully I make it another 43 years, right? And get to see my kids grow up, get to see my kids become the people that they were meant to be. But maybe that's not going to happen. And so I'm going to hit the ground running right now on the very first day of my new year in doing the things that help me to live my vision, in doing the things that help me to be the best father, the best husband, the best human that I can be. You know, it's interesting. Gary Vaynerchuk says he comes at it on a daily basis in a different way, and his is about gratitude. But every morning, he says, he wakes up and he imagines his wife, his kids, his family dying. And I can't remember if he says exactly how they die, but he imagines them dying every single day. And I remember he was doing a podcast with Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins said, "Wow, that's powerful, right?" And for Gary, again, yeah, it's a dark place, but he came out of that with a daily sense of gratitude. And so when I go to this dark place, and maybe it's not for you, right? But I'm just sharing my experience. When I go there now on my birthday, when I come out of it, I do have a sense of gratitude. I have a sense of happiness that I have been given the gift of life, and I've helped give the gift of life to others throughout my life. But I do have that sense of urgency that I want to hit the ground running, that I want to start making changes happen in my life that need to be made right away. So, today is the second official day of my new year. Again, I turned 43 yesterday, and I would love to hear from you. You know, do you have anything along those lines that you find yourself doing on your birthday? Or do you just jump in with the celebration? Let me tell you, by the way, I had a ton of fun yesterday. I woke up, my wife had made t-shirts with my Curt Mercadante logo, you know, the bald head and the beard and the glasses, and all the kids, and even my mom. My mom was here over the weekend. They were all wearing the shirts. We went out yesterday to a farmer's market, listened to some great music. I watched the kids dance, went to my favorite Italian restaurant here, and we had a lot of fun. A little tired today. But anyways, I thought I'd share with you that little exercise I do every birthday. Again, it sounds dark, right? But I do it with intention. And I do it knowing that, yes, it's going to be a dark place, but knowing that I can get myself out of it. Because by going to that dark place, I can arise with a sense of gratitude. I can arise with that sense of urgency. And yes, this is the Freedom Club podcast, and I can say it does give me a greater sense of freedom because I look at those areas in my life in which maybe I don't feel entirely free, and I look at the outcome, which is freedom, and I decide right here, right now, today, in the very first day of my new year, I am going to tweak those things. I am going to fix those things to ensure that my outcome of freedom is obtained. Listen, I hope you have a Monday. I hope you have an entire week filled with freedom and abundance and, yes, gratitude. This is Curt Mercadante. You're listening to the Freedom Club podcast. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.